ותותפות בין עיניך ובטובתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו עשיתם את כל חוקותיי והייתם קדושים אלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Boy, that is a tough key. That's a tough key for me. Man.
Well, we were in D minor.
Wow. All right. How about a Micha Mocha? Anybody have a good Micha Mocha? You have one. He has a good one. What's that? Debbie Friedman?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the Hashkivenu.
Just gotta.
And then we have other stuff. Yes, Hashkivenu first. You have Hashkivenu.
Great.
All right.
Okay.
Mm. Is it better?
Can't wait.
This is great.
So, says you want
It
to
shouldn't have failed like that.
Both of them.
This is an original Hashkivenu, and while we all want to sing along, perhaps you don't want to sing this. You won't know it, but you can, if you join in, you can sing. I'd rather you not.
Okay.
Okay. Sometimes I join my songs with songs that we do know. I find that it brings the songs to a deeper level, and perhaps the English melodies maybe brings them new meaning. When I am worried and I can't sleep, I count my blessings instead of sheep, and I fall asleep, counting my blessings. My bankroll is getting small. I think of when I had none at all.
Lovely.
Very beautiful.
That was beautiful.
Yep.
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
So many.
now I gotta talk for a couple minutes and then we'll do our thing. All right. Okay, so you can stay. You guys stay.
Yeah, I wanted to say.
I like you
one
guys.
too.
That's not good.
It's a
I
convertible.
grabbed it in the wrong place. There we go. Oh, so much better. Shabbat Shalom. Those of you who don't know me, thank you. I'm Rabbi Stephen Blaine. I'm the founder of our online community, Shalom, the world's only fully online Jewish Universalist synagogue. I'm also the founder and dean of JSLI, the Jewish Spiritual Leaders Institute. And it's a great pleasure to formally welcome you all here this evening for our 14th, I can't believe it's 14, right? 14th. I'm getting younger though.
Yes.
JSLI Rabbinical School Ordination Weekend. I'd like to formally welcome the two rabbis, the additional rabbis who comprise our Bet Din, our three rabbis who will ordain our new rabbis at the conclusion of tomorrow night, the conclusion of Shabbat. Rabbi Monty Sugarman.
Rabbi Monty! Woo!
Rabbi Ruvain Silverman.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe some of you might not be here tomorrow night, so I'll practice on you. I have to tell you a little bit. Rabbi Sugarman is the co-spiritual leader of the Synagogue Without Walls, called Or Hadash, based in Ballston Spa. Where's Ballston Spa?
Saratoga.
All right. He and his wife Anna are independent modern rabbis who serve all branches of Jewish orientation and all people. And they specialize in B'nai Mitzvah, Bar and Bat Mitzvah training and life cycle ceremonies. And Rabbi Sugarman works as a hospital chaplain at St. Peter's Health Partners in Albany, New York. And he's also a licensed marriage and family therapist. So if any of you would like to discuss any issues with him, and prior to leaving tonight, a glass of wine, I'm sure he can help you. For a fee.
Free.
Free. Oh, wow.
Wow.
You're gonna have a line.
You only get 2 minutes.
And of course, Rabbi Ruvain Silverman was ordained through us, through JSLI in 2014. He is the Rabbi of Temple Israel of DeLand.
That's right.
He loves DeLand very much.
All the land.
I just thought of that as I was doing it. A community of 150 rabbis. They are an independent synagogue, considered reformadox, because they straddle the line between reform and traditional teaching. They have 10. You have 10 children?
Yeah.
In your Hebrew school. In
Yes.
Hebrew school.
You're in trouble.
Rabbi Silverman also owned an insurance agency for 43 years. He just he just sold it. He was able to sell it.
You were right the first time.
And he's retired, got retired, he's happy, he's got grandkids, and he's full-time rabbi of his synagogue. He's a very happy man. Look at him. He's very happy. He's married for 43 years to Renee.
Right.
Has one son and daughter-in-law and 3 granddaughters.
Mm-hmm.
And the oldest is having her bat mitzvah in March.
That's right.
All right, am I done with you guys now? Can I move on? Thank you.
Move on.
So this Shabbat we will read from the second book of the Torah, from Shemot. And I'm going to leave that message to the rabbis. I'm off this week. I just do the other stuff. But Rabbi Silverman is going to talk to you a little bit in a few minutes. And he's going to stimulate your Torah minds. And Rabbi Sugarman will share his take on Shemot tomorrow morning. You see. But right now we will join in a meditation from one of my mentors, Rabbi Joseph Gelberman. I'd like to ask you to please rise. Rabbi Gelberman was a contemporary of Rav Zalman Schachter Shlomi, the founder of Jewish Renewal. And both rabbis are on a similar path. They both engaged in spiritual enlightenment and were progressive in their thoughts and teachings, particularly around Kabbalah and the interfaith. And it is from Rabbi Joseph Gelberman's inspiration that the seeds of JSLI were planted. Rabbi Gelberman was known for his wisdom and humor despite a challenging life. He experienced religious persecution as a child in Hungary, and then again as a young rabbi, when his wife and a young daughter were taken to Auschwitz. Rabbi Gelberman's greatest gift, perhaps, was that he was early early to embrace the idea that although religions are different, the intention is always the same, getting closer to God. He liked to illustrate his interfaith philosophy this way. Imagine a blackboard, and in the middle of the blackboard are the names of all religions. And over all the religions is a big G, meaning God. And when you look at it, you realize we're all going to the same place. It's simple, but it worked, okay? And so let's help each other find God together. So this evening, I'm going to offer you an opportunity to take a journey to spiritual and emotional freedom. You too, Martin. Rabbi Gelberman always took great joy in leading this meditation. So I'd like you to close your eyes with me, please. And join me at the spiritual mikvah. So hold out your hands at your sides with your palms up. Now feel 3 drops of heavenly water hitting your hands. 1, 2, 3. You bring your hands and the water to your forehead and use it to wash away all your fears, all your negative thoughts, all your doubts, and all of your judgments. Now bring that water to your eyes and wash away all of the blinders that keep you from seeing your fellow human beings exactly as they are, in God's image, your brothers and your sisters. Now bring that water to your ears and clear them so that you may only hear truth, and so that you are able to hear cries for help and support. Now bring your hands and the water to your mouth so that you may only speak of truth and love and joy. Finally, spread that water over all of you, over your whole body, your front and your sides, all around. Back up to your head to clear away all the negativity that you've built up so that you can begin fresh and cleansed and pure in God's eyes. Now, before you open your eyes, I would like you to conclude as Rabbi Gelberman would. I'm going to ask you a question. And the question is this. You're going to say, yes, I am ready. I am ready. So the question is, are you ready? Are you ready to serve the Lord? Everybody. I am ready. I am ready. I am ready to serve the Lord. Again. I am ready. I am ready. I am ready to serve the Lord. One more time. I am ready. I am ready. I am ready to serve the Lord. Join with me now. We'll continue with the Amidah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanorah El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zoher Hasdeot V'imot, U'mevi Olam B'neihem, L'man Shemo V'yahava, Melech Ozer, Moshiach U'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Sarah, Atah Gibor Adonai, Mechayei Hakol Atah Rav Leoshia, Mechakel Chayim Bechesed, Mechayei Hatim Berachamim Rabim, Somek Noflim Berofei Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar michamocha ba'al gevurot umidom elah melech le'mi
Chaye Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'emanata l'chayot meitim Baruch atah Adonai Mechayeh ha'metim.
We're going to pause for a moment of silent prayer. Shalom.
Uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimaru.
Amen.
Please be seated. Let's do a Misha Berach, then we'll bring Rabbi Ruvain up. Let's do a Misha Berach for those who are ill. Those of you online, please type in the names of those you'd like us to mention. And ready? Misha Berach Avoteinu B'kor Abraham Le'imotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. Look around the room. Anybody want to mention any names? Anybody over here? Are you all right? Good.
You got some people. Right.
Noah Abraham ben Shmuel Eliyahu ben Sarah and David Mantle.
Joyce Becker and Yaakov Ben Fumalea.
And all those people that we.
There's many. Olivia Max, Evan Coleman, Terry S., Fred, Cindy, Curtis, Lois Darr, Ann Moser, Betsy Galloway, Cliff H. Marion, Harold, Ron, Ellen, Casey Repus, Wendy Christensen, Margot Dean, Poor and Homeless Out in the Cold, Honey Sue, Arlene, Terry, Judy, Sarah, Carl, Louise, Val, Faye, Pierre, Lillian, Eric, Kristen Carey, Shaughness League, Charles Robeson, Kiku, Luis, Alberto, Rosa, Ruca Pedro, Firmino, those affected by yesterday's blizzards and storms, Michael Teets, Mike Mortensen, and Zora Solomon. And then there's a lot over here too. A lot.
Well, anybody that we've missed, you're all
There
in
were
our,
a lot
in our
on
thoughts. Anybody
Facebook.
else
It was
here?
hard to see.
Kavanali, Josh Aaron, I'm Garen.
Charlotte Fogel, please.
Yeah.
Itia Mayer, Bat Rachel, Ahuva, Margaret Rose, and Laura
Lily, Ola, Sarah, Ann, Vogel, family, Sylvia, Steve Davis, B, Jack, Bill, oh, Willie, Ola, oh, Rabbi DeBoer.
know, we have many people watching all around the world right now. And so we're going to collect all that energy, all that healing energy, and just send it out. And let's hope for a shalema, for a perfect healing for all those people who just mentioned.
Amen.
Amen.
Now I'd like to bring up Rabbi Ruvain. He has a few words to say.
Thank you, Rabbi. I do, but indeed, my honored Rabbi Mati Sugarman
I just want
has
to say one thing.
word.
and
Oh,
then-
you want to say? Okay,
Yes,
absolutely.
one
That's right. That's right.
I just want to, I'm Rabbi Sugarman from Ballston Spa, New York, or Saratoga. Actually, Abner Doubleday, I didn't really know that, was born, the inventor of baseball was born in my town. Okay, and also
Really?
the potato chip was invented in Saratoga Springs. Just want to let you know.
Do you know how
All
many
right.
people you've killed?
What?
I thought that was the important part.
No,
Okay.
that I just had a.
Yeah,
because
you
it's
had to
a-
say that.
But anyway, I wanted the
Good.
ordinees to stand up for a minute, okay? Okay, and just say something. I like to say. We all okay. That this is a very powerful Shabbat for you all. Okay, I just want throughout today, tonight, tomorrow morning, the whole day through the end of Shabbat, the Havdalah and your ordination, that you're going through a transformation. Okay, just to kind of reflect on this. It's not a little thing, because you'll become rabbis tomorrow night. But still, right now, you're Jewish lay leaders and leaders. Just to reflect on that, that transformation that you're going to be going in. It's a very powerful way that Rabbi Blaine has this, that we do the whole Shabbat together, starting, eating together, lighting the candles, and having the Friday night service. Then we have all the, the 3 services tomorrow, presenting all your papers. So it's a real transformation that you will be changed when we do this mikvah. So just reflect on that. So I want you all just to say, if you could say Haneni, which our forefathers and matriarchs said to Hashem, thousands of years ago, and we're still saying it. We're saying it in Israel here and in America. So just say it again. Amen. Okay, so we'll reflect on that again tomorrow night, because we'll be speaking, but it's very powerful.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Yasher Koach to Rabbi Sugarman and to everybody. Please have a seat. Rabbi Reuben has a word for you, but I learned a long time ago from Rabbi Blaine to write down what I'm going to say. Have you been writing down anything you were going to say? Yeah.
We're gonna have tomorrow.
Yeah, I've got just a word to say. Before I say it, though, I have something I want to give thanks to God. Will you join me if you can? If not, that's fine. Modi manah she'atahu Adonai Elohei avoteinu v'himoteinu le'olam bo'eh. Tzur chayenu mageishenu atahu l'dor mador. Tzur chayenu mageishenu atahu l'dor mador. We thank God all the time. It's in my heart and my soul, and I know it is in yours as well. So good Shabbos to class number 14 and all the guests that are here tonight. Baruch haba b'shem Adonai, blessed are you all who come in the name of the Lord. Kol kavod to Rabbi Stephen Blaine. God bless you, Steve, because you have really, Rabbi, you've really brought us a long way. And kol kavod to Rabbi Monty Sugarman and his work all over from Potato Chip, New York to
Columbia. I went to Columbia.
Columbia.
South America.
I'll think of you now every time I do a
And the
barbecue
potato
chip. Yeah, this kosher. I want you to know that. And to Carol for carrying on so much for 14 of these and God knows what else you've had to put. I mean that you've administrated through the last year. Yasher koach v'chazak u'baruch. May you be blessed and strong. So bricks and mortar in Shemot, right? We get into the book of Shemot. What do we learn? That we had to make more bricks with less hay. We weren't haying. We were just making more bricks, less hay. So Rabbi Schwartz was walking down the street, right? Okay.
That was
And
my
when he saw-
grandfather.
Huh?
That was my grandfather.
Well, if this story's about your grandfather, you'll let me know. Yeah, all right. He's walking down the street. He saw a young man. It wasn't you. This young man was doing some taxing manual labor on the side of his house. All right. It looked as though he was moving a pile of bricks that had fallen. Right. This is the Jewish people, always moving bricks. Right. You look tired, son, Rabbi Schwartz said. Your grandfather, I think it was him. I'm sure now that I think about it.
Hey,
Why don't you rest a moment and I'll give you a hand? No, thanks, said the young man. My father would not approve. Don't be silly, Rabbi Schwartz said. Everyone's entitled to a break. Come and have a little drink of water. Sit down for a minute. Again, the young man protested. No way, Jose. My father would be upset. Thank you, Rabbi. My father would be upset. Losing his patience just a little, because rabbis don't lose their patience, right? Oh, God. They're not supposed to, right? All right. So Rabbi Schwartz said, your father must be a real slave driver. Tell me where I can find him, and I'm going to give him a piece of my mind. Well, replied the young man, you can tell him whatever you want, or whatever you like, just as soon as I get these bricks off of him. What can I tell you? Bricks and mortar, right? This is Egypt for the Jewish people. Was that your grandfather?
Absolutely.
I thought you knew that story all along, right? Here I was Anna Clement. So I cannot think, truthfully, ladies and gentlemen, of a better parsha than Shemot to have a Shabbat devoted to a class of men and women, 2 women, there's one in Canada still up there, right? To become rabbis. You can't think of a better parsha for the whole thing. In this parsha, Moses becomes the greatest rabbi who ever lived. God comes to him in a burning bush. You are the anointed one. You are my choice for the leader who will take my beloved Bnei Yisrael back to the land of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, as I promised them. Right? So Moses was extremely humble. He was highly intelligent, and he was wise. The difference between this class and Moses is that he understood the job and didn't want it. What does that say about us? I don't know. I'm not sure. Jewish people, right? Okay. In all seriousness, Moses asked many of the questions of God that you and I have asked ourselves, and we keep asking God. For example, when people ask, who sent me? I cannot say, Yehiyah sent me. Right? They won't believe me. That's what Moses said, right? Yehiyah sent me, right? And God said to Moses, Shema lefonecho. They will hear you, and they will understand you. What will this class say? Rabbi Blaine sent me? All right. It's not quite the same, right? All right, we're close, but not quite. The same, I shall be who I shall be, sent me? What are you going to say? I heard this afternoon in here, right? The God of Moses sent me? Hear me now. You will be asked in one way or another how you became a rabbi. I hear somebody screaming.
They heard about the job.
Ran the other way.
And they said, I don't want it.
So the Midrash tells us that Moses and God stood in front of the burning bush for a week. This is in the Midrash. For a week. I mean, they each had lawyers and everything, and it was a true negotiation. It was all going on over there, right? You know. So Moses says, look, I'm a shepherd. And God told him, well, if he can lead sheep, he can also lead men and women. The way that Moses came to the burning bush on Mount Horeb, which, by the way, was Mount Sinai. Mount Horeb is Mount Sinai, right? He fed his sheep away from other shepherds. A lot of people don't know that. So that they wouldn't get mixed in with the other flocks, like Jacob with Laban over there. Okay? And one little sheep got away from him, according to the Midrash, and he chased it all the way to Mount Horeb, Mount Sinai. When God saw this compassion that Moses had to save one sheep, he knew Moses was the guy for him. So Moses tells God, I can't speak. He's still trying to, back out of it a little bit, right? I'm not a good speaker. So God said, your brother Aaron is a good speaker. He will speak for you. I can't shut him up anyway, all right? So all of us who have signed up for this job have flaws and faults that can prevent us from being the leader that we want if we allow it to get in the way. However, Moses must have finally signed up for the job because we know how the story goes, So at the end of that week. Ladies and gentlemen, if this parsha does not explain the concept of leadership and the rabbinate, I'm not sure what does. Moses became the greatest rabbi in a week while he was standing in front of a burning bush without his shoes on. While you all have had a year in front of a computer that was burning, right? Same thing, modern version. But Moses was taught the Torah as a child, and so many of you today said, when I was 12, or when I was this, or when I was that. This meant something to me then. And that same child in you that it meant something to then, it means to now. I know that. I know that for myself, and I know that for you. Moses was taught the Torah as a child, as the Baal HaTurim says, Yocheved, his real mother and Wetner, schooled him in the Torah. So you and I had various preparations for this moment, and then Rabbi Blaine and Carol and other rabbis that you've had during your year of study helped you to hone your knowledge and your skills and brought you to stand tall with a staff like Moses in your hand. The goal is the same now as it was then. Don't let anybody kid you. Bring B'nai Yisrael out of the Galut, because we're in it good and deep right now, and teach them the laws of God with chesed ve'emet, with kindness and truth. This is your mission, and God has already blessed you. Keep it always between your eyes and on your arm and on the doorposts of your houses and your gates, and it will be well with you. The Nomar. Amen.
Amen.
Good Shabbos.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat.
Shikaya.
Thank you, Rabbi Blaine. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Beautiful.
I mean, you can tell him I sent you, but I don't know if it's going to help. Up to you. Please rise for the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal, Yitgadal, Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma Yivrach Yerutei, V'yamlik Malchutei, V'chayechon, V'yamechon, V'chayech Kol Beit Yisrael, V'agalav Yizman Kariv Yimru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mevorach, Le'olam Olamei Omayah. Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitramam, V'yitnaseh. V'yitadar, v'yitalev, v'yitalav, shnei dekudusha b'rithu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nehemata,
Damiran Be'alma V'imru Amen.
Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya. V'chayim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael. V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mamav.
Hu Ya'aseh Shalom.
Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael. V'imru Amen. Do Aleinu? Aleinu Shabeach Adon HaKol. Latei Gedula Le'oseh Reshit. Shelo Asanu Goyei Aratzot. Velo Samanu Mishmishtot Adama. Shelo Sam Chelkeinu Kahem. V'gor Aleinu K'chol Amonam. V'anachnu Gorim U'mishtachavim U'olim Lifnei Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Ve'emar V'haya Adonai V'melech al kol haaretz V'yom hahu Yeh Adonai echad U'shemo echad. Please be seated. That concludes our service, although I'm sure we have something to sing at the very end. We have announcements, and our announcements are this. What do we have?
We're gonna hang
We're
out
gonna
over
meet
there a
next-
little
we're gonna hang
bit.
out
Sing,
next door.
sing more,
And what?
sing more.
We can sing more.
And breakfast.
Breakfast is at 8
You know
a.m.
more?
sharp.
More than the greatest love the world has known. I'm sorry, cut. We'll sing more and next door. And then and tomorrow, services start promptly at
About 8:45.
8:45.
Okay.
And we're not kidding either. So if you're not here,
And
you're going to miss
breakfast
out on
is
some
at
great
8.
services.
8 sharp.
8 sharp for breakfast, right, Rev?
Yeah.
Yeah, those of you that are running to bed, 8 o'clock breakfast, they're not waiting. And there's a lot of people tomorrow also, or something.
Another group.
Another group tomorrow?
Oh, that's at lunchtime.
Oh, that's at lunchtime. Okay. All right, so anyway, 8 o'clock, right? So after this, go next door. Tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock for food, 8:45 here, dressed for Shabbat. So dress for breakfast. And then by the end of tomorrow, this time you'll be official. You'll be kosher.
Mm.
I mean, not any of you who haven't studied. You're not going to get it. But the rabbinical students. All right, anything? What do you want to conclude?
Hashem Allah.
Hashem Allah, Hashem Allah, B'terem Kol, B'terem Kol, Yisrael, 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 Yisrael,
B'tzon Chavivi Yitzhara Adon Olam, Ve'im Isi Umanosli, Ve'lakosi B'yom Ekra Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Le'et Nazar, B'chapso Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nivra, Adon Olam, Yachameh, Kod HaKol, Ve'et Tisha Ve'yahira, Adon Olam, Ve'im Ruchi, Geviati, Adon Ali Ve'lo Ira, Adon Olam.
Hey, Shabbat Shalom!
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shabbat. Shabbat Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shabbat. Shabbat Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat 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 Shalom.
Where's the wine?
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next door.
Yeah. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Shabbat
Shalom.
Shalom. I have to tune down one key.
I've heard of half a key.
No, I have to do it. No.
I know, I've heard people do it half a key.
Because I sing in D minor all the time.
That's why.
And then if I
Got it?
No, I haven't done anything. I can turn them off. Let me turn this one off.
Finish, push your legs.
it's D minor if you're in E minor.